Advanced, brought to you by Commando Gaming, Strategic Gaming, brought to you live on twitch.tv at Commando Gaming 1. We are starting out a new fresh start for Battletech because we have upgraded our streaming computer, and we are, as a result of that, doing a fresh start because it's way too complicated and time intensive to move our data from one computer to another. And quite frankly, it's always a good excuse for a fresh start, which is one of the most challenging parts of playing Battletech Advanced. So thank you for joining us. Here we are in the Argo for our new fresh start. If you see any things I need to adjust or tweak, keep in mind that we just did a brand new setup, so I'll take your feedback and try to address them either midstream or afterwards. Hey, Phoebosians, thank you for joining us as always. We're doing a fresh start on our game because we got a new streaming rig, so we're doing a fresh start. Thanks for stopping by. So let's look at our pilots here. So we've got a pretty good group of pilots. I did not select the Battletech crew, the BTA crew, for my pilots. Number one, to make it a little more challenging. Oh, my day's been fine. How's your day been so far? My day's just starting. You're probably at midday by now. Actually, you're in the early evening, if I'm not mistaken. So I didn't select the BTA crew because I'm letting everyone use their channel points to either name a mech or name a pilot. So we're going to be doing that throughout the course of the streams. So we're going to give everybody the option to use your channel points to either name a pilot after yourself, or anyone for that matter, and also we can add mechs. So our mechs to start out with, we have a Dervish, we have a Jenner D, we have a Locust, we have a Fire Bee, we have a Jenner D, and a Clint, which we got from the heavy metal kit, heavy metal case, or crate, I should say. Sorry about that. So so let's get to this. So I made that change just because it was just a more realistic cost for a free sub. You know, free subs are not free for us on the channel. They actually cost us full price. So we want to make sure that if we're giving away a free sub, that you earn it. So that's where it comes from, because it does cost us money on the channel to give you a free sub. It's not free. It's not like I could push a button and give a free sub to everybody. So that's the reason we made that change. So we've got some interesting mechs to start out with, so that this Dervish is not bad. I'll work on the leaderboard. I've been a little busy getting the new streaming computer set up, but I'll work on the leaderboard. So I'll get around to that. So we've got two Jenners, which gives us not a bad start. The Dervish is it's kind of a, it's not bad. It's just I'm not really excited about a 10 LRM 20 Dervish build. So I do like the Firebee. The Firebee's got some good punch, and the Clint is decent for a starting mech. These are certainly mechs that we could start out with. No problem. I'm not going to worry about it. Let me know if you want to use some of your channel points to rename one of our pilots in your honor, or you can name one of the mechs. That's something you can do with your channel points as well. So let's jump right into this. Let's see. I need to finish the repairs on that dervish. So there we go. That dervish is now repaired. Let's see. All right. I don't need that Jenner for our first mission. So let's jump into a mission. So the BTA team gives us this live fire exercise. Actually, they gave it to us twice, interestingly enough. So let's select that first, because they give us cash, which we kind of need right now. All right, so we're going to take our dervish, of course. We'll put our commander in the dervish. Next up, I guess would be our Clint. So we need someone with our top accuracy to be in the Clint. So let's go with this guy, Doughball. Hey, Andre. Well, last time we had a crash on our old computer, which accelerated me using the new computer going forward. I still need to add 32 megabytes of RAM to this rig, but it should be fine for this stream. Certainly better than when we were crashing every other mission with the old computer. So that's what happened. So let's see, we got a Firebee, which is actually a sniper, so we should also put a decent pilot in that. Oh wait, actually Jelly should be our pilot for the Clint. I guess we could put Pacifist here in the Firebee because he has decent gunnery. We've got the Jenner. Let's we'll put Coach in the Jenner. Yep, we started a brand new campaign because we switched over to our new computer, and it's a real hassle to take all the data from the old computer to the new computer. Plus, I'm always happy to have a fresh start on BattleTech Advanced because I think the first part of your career is actually the most challenging. Let's see. Put a sensor locker into the Locust here. All right. So yes, so that's why we're doing a fresh start, Andre. We're going to be playing until about 10:45 Eastern Time, and then we're going to be switching over to Boulder's Gate with our friend IMG. So let's see how far we could get in this fresh start before we switch games. How's my camera look? Does it look okay? How's the audio? Let me know if there's anything that you notice that's out of the ordinary, because I just started using this new computer. This is the first stream with the new computer, so there's probably going to be some tweaks that we need to do. For example, let's see, let's move my chair up a little bit so you can see me a little better. So now load time, we're going to have to see how that works with this computer, because I only have 16 megabytes in this computer right now, and I'm going to be adding in another 32, but it won't come till Tuesday. But the good thing is, this is a clean computer. It doesn't have a lot of stuff. And as you can see, it's still loaded pretty quickly. So, and I've got a 3080 graphics card in here, top of the line. So, hopefully that will give us a good experience as well. Alright, so this is just a BTA training mission.
It is a sea of green out there.
This is just a BTA training mission, so...
Alright, let's get down to it.
Uh-huh.
So what we do with this BTA training mission is it's basically an opportunity for you to get used to your mechs.
Copy that.
And gain some C-bills in a practice environment. So the enemy's going to be firing practice Gauss rounds, which do very little damage. Hey, Andre, that's always my plan. Normally I play a campaign for quite some time. Again, since I switched computers, we had to switch to a fresh start.
Roger.
So I don't plan on restarting this anytime soon. Plus, we do have some people that are new to the streams, or new to playing BTA, and they can probably get some value out of us doing a fresh start. And also, Andre, just so you know, you can now use your channel points to either name a mech or name a pilot. So that's another benefit of us doing a fresh start, is we can have pilots and mechs that are named by the people who watch the stream.
Engaging.
Simply use your channel points if you would like to exercise that. Thank you for the follow. How's the game audio? Is that sounding good? Just let me know if anything seems odd.
Good to go.
I carried over most of my settings through the beauty of the internet.
Roger that.
But still, I had to tweak a few things with the new computer. So, if there's anything out of the ordinary, let me know.
Locking on target.
Ooh, lucky hit on that PPC. That's a good start. As you'll see, my pilots don't have the accuracy that they used to have, and they don't have the skills that they've earned from our previous playthrough. So this is very much a fresh start.
What are your orders, Skipper?
And when you're starting out fresh with a new playthrough, one of the most important things is to use your mechs
Copy that, Commander.
as they're designed to be used. So if you have a scout mech, use it as a scout mech. If you have a fire support mech, use it as a fire support mech. Because your pilots, until they level up skill-wise, are going to be really impacted by you using the mechs correctly.
Locking off. All weapons systems.
Sometimes one of the things I get as feedback from new players is they're like, hey, I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. And I look, and it's like, you're actually not using the mech the way you're supposed to be using it. You can't take a Clint and make it a brawler. It's not going to go well for you.
Firing everything I've got.
Alright, we'll keep focusing down on this Irby. We're going to see a lot of Irbies on this mission because this is a training
Want some
mission.
more? Huh?
So, we're going to see a lot of Irbies, and we don't get salvage from this mission. It's 100% cash, and we don't get damage from this mission either. So it's a win-win. All right, here's our Dervish. It's technically our most powerful mech, but I need to work the weapons once we get some additional options in salvage. It's okay, but we could do a lot better. Alright, we got more Irbies coming in. Oh, here comes a missile Irby. One funny thing about this mission is you do get
Commander.
you get all the Irbies you can handle. That's for sure. So one of the things I always recommend with newer playthroughs is don't be afraid to use melee to offset the fact that your pilots are not as good as they will be later on. So a heavy dose of melee when you have new pilots is always a good idea. Here we go. Let's do some melee. Actually, we'll go for a punch here.
Copy that.
When the enemy has damage to the center torso, you want to do a punch. If they're about to die. The only negative thing about a punch, as you saw right there, is you don't fire your secondary weapons on your arms. What does the number in the red-green hexagon mean? The red-green hexagon? Let's see. The red-green hexagon. Not sure where you're seeing the red-green hexagon. Point that out to me on the screen next time you have a chance. And I'll try to explain it to you. Bottom left. Oh, right here. Oh, this number. Oh, sorry. That's the that is the information that you're getting for the grid that you're in right now. So this is telling you that it's a forest grid. See this information forest? This comes from this hexagon here, if that makes sense to you. Well, as you'll see, it'll change here. So let's see. Let's move our mech to be on. No, the green hexagon. Yeah, that might be a new feature, and I never really noticed it before. I'm gonna have to research that. So thanks for pointing it out to me. I hardly ever look over there, oddly enough. I'm gonna have to see if I can figure it out as we go along what that green hexagon 8 refers to. Let's see if it changes on another mech.
Minimum damage. This guy's nothing.
Oh, sure, Andre. I could do that. You know what? I think our community would be really interested in seeing...
Waiting for orders.
For those of you that don't know, Andre is an aspiring artist, and he likes to get encouragement on this this skill he's trying to develop. So, Andre, how about you draw us your incarnation of an Irby? Maybe an Irby doing something funny. Because there's always like maybe you could do a meme. You know how an Irby is called a trash can? So a lot of artists try to draw the Irby but make it look like there's a trash can on top. I think that would be kind of funny. I think that would be a cool project for you, Andre. Does that sound like something you would enjoy? I want to make sure it's a topic that you would like to enjoy, because when you're doing art, it's very important that you really enjoy it. You know, if you're doing art and you're not passionate about what you're looking at, then it doesn't necessarily work for you artistically. That's what I've been told. Again, I have no artistic ability myself, so I don't know if that's the case at all. Alright, so let's do a
Double time, let's go.
move with our locust here. Instead of, we're going to do a target prediction. And as you can see, that really increases our accuracy. So when someone has that target prediction ability, ouch. Ooh, hard shots to our Clint there.
Ha! Send me a real opponent!
Orders.
So once again, since we're doing an early playthrough, a fresh start, one of the things you can do with your channel points is you can cash them in to either name a pilot or a mech of your choice. So just letting you know that is absolutely an option. Alright, let's hit this Irby with our PPC. Alright, we got some structural damage there. So for example, if you want to rename one of our pilots after you or a friend or a family member, all you have to do is use your channel points. We're also going to be naming our mechs based on what they do,
There you go.
because I find that's very useful for new viewers. So you can have some leeway into what are some input as to what we name our mechs.
Aye, Skipper.
Now we
Full
still
speed.
want to
No
name
target.
them something that reflects what they do, because I think that's very educational for newer players. You know, for example, we could call a scout, or we could call it recon, or something like that. So we want to try to still name the mechs something that's tied to what they do, but we can have a little fun with it with our channel points.
Minimal damage on that hit.
Good to go.
Sound good, everybody? If so, you know, please chime in. So Andre says, yes, I'll do an Irby trash can. Maybe it's also good to attach a trash can on the back. It's also good for me if you be giving me a new topic each month. I'll be doing the designs while... Okay, yeah, sure. I think that would be a really fun thing for us to do. I'm happy to give you some topics. You know, and then, you know, we can... Andre will display his artwork on our Discord in our art gallery.
I'm on the clock. What do you
And
want?
one thing we like to do is we like to rotate our
All right.
our
Let's
logo
get it.
on Twitch, so we might decide that we want to use one of these renderings as one of our logo. That would be cool. All right, definitely developing some heat challenges with this dervish. So please, if you're watching our stream, hop into the chat room and say hello, like Andre's doing. All right, we triggered the convoy now, so we need to expedite getting rid of these last Irbies and then supporting the convoy.
Waiting for orders.
Alright. Alright, we got 2 more Irbies left that we need to work through here. So again, when you're starting out, one of the best ways to help your young pilots is to do melee, because it does 2 things. Number 1, it gives you some free damage to the enemy. It also moves you closer to the enemy, so they will, your weapons have a better chance of hitting. And also, you take the evasion away from your target, which helps your teammates. So, early on in a playthrough when your pilots are not so good, use melee a lot. It does increase your chances for melee yourself, or more damage, but it's a good trade-off overall. So I really recommend that. So Andre, I think it's fitting that you get the assignment to give us a drawing of an Irby when we start out with this mission.
Full speed, no target.
And there's nothing but Irbies in this mission, so that's just kind of funny. Alright, let's use some of our rockets here. Let's see if we can't get rid of this Irby a little faster. The one thing about this Fire Bee is it's got a lot of rocket launchers, so we have to really manage our ammo. Because once those rocket launchers are gone, he just has a PPC. Which is still a really good build for a Fire Bee to have a PPC. Alright, so again, we're going to go in close to increase our melee, our accuracy with melee. And get in some extra free damage with that melee as well. But the problem is, right here, you get the enemy doing the same thing to you.
Try aiming next time. See what you get.
Commander? Coordinates received.
Haha. Alright. Get some back shots on these Irbies. Nice.
Critical hit.
You know, someone commented a couple streams ago saying that they never got to see any Irbies. Well, you're seeing lots of Irbies now.
I'm on the clock. What do you want?
Lots and lots of Irbies. Thank you for the follow, Elitio Fran. I think that's how you pronounce that. Nothing like a good backstabbing here. So that's another thing you really need to emphasize with your new playthroughs is if you could get those shots into the rear of the enemy, obviously it's going to do a significant amount more damage than if you go for the front armor. So when you're starting out with a fresh start, use a heavy dose of melee, and then go for the rear torso as much as you can of the enemy. You're just trying to constantly
Good to go.
offset the fact that you don't have a lot of
Position confirmed.
accuracy with your gunnery.
Targeting for physical attack.
So again, we're going to take our Locust, we're going to take it in close, and we're going to hammer the enemy at close range to offset that accuracy, that negative accuracy that you have with newer pilots.
Ready for orders.
Alright, let's see if we can get rid of this Irby. Alright, there goes that Irby. We're going to have no shortage. Hey, Goggles, how are you? We just started our new playthrough. So you didn't miss anything other than us trashing some Irbies. You're going to see that my mechs are nowhere near as good as the mechs that you started out with. And we can still be pretty successful by using good strategy. Also, Goggles, you can use your channel points now as part of this fresh start to either name a pilot, or you can name a mech. So those options are available with your channel points now.
I'm on the clock. What do you want?
You know, it's not inexpensive, but keep in mind that our pilots are probably going to be with us for the duration, because I don't switch out my pilots very often. I like to focus on upgrading them. So if you want to come every day and see a pilot that you named, use your channel points. Alright, the convoy is getting way ahead of us, so we need to really focus on moving up to support that convoy. Alright, so again, we've got a new inexperienced pilot, so we're going to go in for melee. That both increases our accuracy of our attack. Even if we miss, it still increases the accuracy because we are in close. And if we succeed with the melee, it's going to take away the enemy evasion, which helps the rest of your team. So melee early on, while your pilots are beefing up their skills, is very important.
Got something you want done?
And it's a good way for you to address the fact that you don't have the skills that you'll have later on in the playthrough. Alright, there we took out a leg on that Irby.
Critical hit coming.
Nice.
Got a weapon out.
Oh, so Andre, to spend channel points, underneath where it says send a message, you see a little bubble there. If you click on that bubble, that is your Alpha Strike availability. So basically what that allows you to do, if you click on that bubble, that will allow you to use your channel points. Yes. So, Googles, when you melee with your feet, if you kick, you still fire your weapons on your arms. If you punch, you don't use the weapons on your arms. So that's why kicking is a more effective way of doing melee, because then you fire more of your weapons. Now, if you have a mech that has more of its weapons on the feet, on the legs, like a Crusader, then you'd probably want to punch so you could use your weapons on your feet. But most of the time, you're going to want to go for a kick. It also does damage to the legs instead of the torso, which also maximizes salvage if you're trying to get as many mech parts as possible. So a kick is a real good use of your turn every time.
Good to go.
All right, let's kick these guys while they're down and hopefully finish them off. Right, there goes an injection. So Andre, did you figure out how you can access your channel points? You should have a lot of channel points. So you can name a mech, or you can name a pilot, and then the pilot will be yours, or whatever you name it for the duration. As long as they survive, they'll have that name.
The cream of the crop will rise to the top.
So, Goggles, does that answer your question as far as why we kick for the most part? And you'll see that IMG does that as well, and there's a reason for that. With the update that came out in 8.0, No, I think it was 7.8, where you could actually kick, or you could do melee and still use your weapons. That was a real game changer, especially early on, because then melee isn't a either or, it's actually a both. You get free damage to the enemy's legs by doing a melee. It's pretty much a no-brainer that you do, especially early on, you want to do melee as much as you can. Hey, M. Simmons, how are you? Hope you're having a good day. We're starting a fresh playthrough because we got our new streaming rig put together.
Standing by.
So we're gonna make we're enjoying that quite a bit. A fresh new playthrough.
Getting my weight.
I don't anticipate doing another fresh start for quite some time. All right, so you have Andre says he has 3,000. He needs 450 points for a pilot in BTA. So, Andre, just to give you a frame of reference,
Standing by.
the more you chat, the more you gain channel points. If you just watch, you'll get about 220 channel points an hour. However, each time you chat, I believe you get 50 additional channel points. So please don't spam the chat just to get channel points, but please be engaged in the chat, and then you'll naturally get additional channel points, if that makes sense. Now, I would not be surprised if M. Simmons does not have enough channel points to name a pilot. I would be surprised. You could also name a mech, Andre, for half the price. So you need, I think you need 5,000 channel points to name a mech. Now, keep in mind, if you name a mech, it doesn't mean I'm going to hold on to that mech forever. We still are going to be switching out our mechs to improve. But you can always use more channel points to rename new mechs.
I'm on the clock. What do you
So
want?
that's why the mechs are available at a lower channel cost, because we're going to be switching out mechs on a regular basis. You could never eat spam. Yeah, I mean spam, if it's prepared correctly, is really good. So, if you ever go to Hawaii, for example, or the Philippines, both of those island nations have a history with the United States military, because that's where spam originally came from. It was used by the United States military for the most part. So if you go to the Philippines, which I've been to, or you go to Hawaii, which I've absolutely been to, they actually incorporate spam into a lot of their cuisine, and they do an amazing job. Some people can do an amazing job with spam, of all things. So, and believe me, I've eaten my share of spam. You know, the U.S. military, and I was in uniform for 7 years, does not use them as field rations anymore. However, due to the history tied to spam, if you go to the food, basically the cafeteria at a military base, you'll very often find spam as one of the options, just because historically the military has used spam for that purpose. And spam is also cheap. Oh yeah, M. Simmons, I understand. It did absolutely start in Minnesota.
For orders.
I didn't know the date, so thank you for that. But that's how spam became so widely used, is because the U.S. military used it as a field ration when it was overseas. So that's why spam became as widely famous as it was, for that reason, interestingly enough. And that's why if you go to the Philippines has very interesting cuisine where they've taken American items and they've kind of tweaked it to their taste. For example, if you go to the Philippines, one of their favorite items to eat is actually spaghetti, but they put hot dogs in the spaghetti. So it's kind of an interesting twist on spaghetti.
I think I hit something good.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Also, there's lots of I mean, the people who created spam were not stupid. They realized that spam was an option for the average family to use for a quick, easy meal.
Copy that.
Especially when we had a lot of people, a lot of women who were actually entering the workforce at that time. Spam was seen as a very useful item for housewives because they could actually work and then come home and make a quick meal with spam. But the way that spam became so popular internationally in some countries was because of the U.S. military using it throughout the world during the same time.
Affirmative.
And they would sometimes give it out to the general population.
Move her down.
And in particular in the Philippines,
I'm on the clock.
it was used as a trade item. So there was a lot of military bases, especially in the 50s to the 90s. There was a lot of military bases in the Philippines, especially naval bases. And what the sailors would do would actually trade spam for goods and services with the native population, and the native population really enjoyed the
It's getting
spam.
pretty fucking warm in here.
So there you go. There's far more information on spam than you probably ever wanted. Thank you, M. Simmons, for that. So take a look at your channel points, because after this mission would be a good time if anyone wants to name a pilot or a mech. We can do that after this mission. So we're trying to make this as interactive as possible. Oh, what means spam? M. Simmons, could you do me a favor? Could you put in a link to spam? Andre is in Russia, so he's probably not as familiar with spam as most of the other people are. I don't think they have spam in Russia. Also, M. Simmons, I was going to ask you, since you're a regular to our channel, and you know we certainly trust you quite a bit, I was going to ask you if you were interested in being one of our moderators for the channel. Because we could always use extra moderators to do things like making sure that people behave in the chat room, posting links to our Discord from time to time,
My flavor is empty.
and just providing things like a link to spam because we're talking about spam. So it's useful for the audience if we put in a link about spam. So just throwing that at you, M. Simmons, if you're interested in being a moderator for us, I certainly would love to give you that authority. Oops. I also want to remind everybody we have our giveaway. So please, if you haven't followed us before, give us a follow for a free entry into our monthly Funko Pop giveaway. Oh, M. Simmons, I don't think that's true. I'm sure you can handle it. M. Simmons is literally just a additional menu that comes up where you can do some special things. But if you don't want to do it, no problem. I just wanted to offer it up. You know, a lot of people that visit streams on a regular basis enjoy being moderators. So, not a problem if you're not interested.
I'm on the clock.
And Andre, at the next break, I'll send you a link of what spam is. It's basically a meat that is preserved in salty brine that you open up, and it's in a can, and then you eat it. So it's kind of like a big hunk of bologna that is in a can, but it's like a solid block of bologna. That's probably the closest I can get to it, explaining it without a picture. Specially processed American meat. There you go. I didn't even know that's what the acronym stood for. Thank you, M. Simmons. That's news to me.
Receiving
All
you.
right, let's get to the end of this mission because I'm tired of dealing with Urbies and Bulldogs. Yes, that's true, Andre. So, you know, I spent 7 years in the military, and I was in the National Guard. So we used a food in the field called Meals Ready to Eat, or MRE. And those are packets with freeze-dried food, and you add water to the food to rehydrate it and make it actually pretty good. I actually like the taste of MREs quite a bit. You know, would I eat them outside of camping? Probably not. But it wasn't as bad as some of the food that earlier generations ate in the military. But each packet of Army MREs is about 2,500 calories because they want you to be able to eat maybe one meal a day if that's what you need to do to keep going. So when I was in the
Waiting for orders.
in uniform and I'd be out on a mission, I would only eat half of my meal,
Printed.
so I wouldn't eat 2,500 calories. I would only eat half of that, so 1,200 calories.
I'm on the clock. What do you want?
But the idea behind the military food having high calories is it's to keep everybody going on the battlefield without traditional food. So it's high calorie, high sugar, high processed food designed to give you a lot of energy very quickly. More contacts. All right, here we go. More Urbies.
Until the package is on its way.
I'm sure those are Urbies. Because that's all we get on this training mission is Urbie. Ah, the Russian military is eating cereals with canned meat. Yeah, so the canned meat that they probably eat is probably very similar to
Yes,
Spam.
Commander.
You know, I haven't experienced that. I've met, over the years, we've had people from other militaries visit us on training missions, but I've never worked with anybody from Russia. I've worked with people from England. I worked with people from Israel once. I worked with, we had an exchange system with Mexico once because I'm in California, so we're near the Mexican border. So I have not met anyone in the Russian military, though.
Receiving you. I'm already there.
Alright. We're actually getting a lot of accuracy for these newer pilots. It's kind of surprising me. Now, the Firebee and the Clint are actually designed to be snipers. So that's part of the reason that they're giving us more accuracy. Because they have quirks that give them positive traits when it comes to firing long-range weapons. If that makes sense.
Confirmed.
Alright. Alright, Coach is taking some hard hits to here. I'm glad that all this damage is going to be repaired for free. Hey, Skewed One! We are doing a fresh start because I switched out my computers. I have a new streaming rig. I don't know if you were on previous streams where we were talking about it. I basically ponied up and got myself a top-of-the-line computer. I've got a 3080 graphics. Yeah, so I got it going. So I got a 3080 graphics card. I have a top-of-the-line processor. Right now, we only have 16 megabytes of RAM because I have more RAM in the mail as we speak. But it's not a problem with BTA.
Some bad decisions at high speed.
Andre's asking if it's pretty expensive to live in California. Yeah, it is. It is very expensive to live in California. So I would say living in Los Angeles where I live, it probably costs 30% more than anywhere in the United States. So it's very expensive. So, Andre, I don't know if this
Objective secured.
has a correlation to you, but for example, my mortgage for my house alone is $4,500. So,
Ready for orders.
just the mortgage is pretty substantial. And that doesn't count, you know, obviously
Locked on for
food,
physical attack.
clothing, electricity. So, oh, don't worry about me, Andre. You know, fortunately, I have a very nice day job that takes care of my basic needs, and then
Armor holding.
Waiting for orders.
so don't worry about me. And fortunately, I do have a significant other who's contributing to the expenses as well. M. Simmons says, Spam is pork and ham with salt water, potato starch, sugar, and sodium nitrate was the original recipe for Spam. Oh, a skewed one. You had some issues with BTA, what were your problems? Was it just a tough mission, or was there some sort of a glitch? Anything that we can do to help, let me know. Also, Skewed One, you can now use your channel points to either name a pilot or name a mech.
Armor's holding.
So that's something we're adding as part of this playthrough. We also need to name our mech, our company, which we'll probably do after this mission. I wanted to get some input from everybody else before we named our company.
Good to go.
Oh, their faction. Oh, so you allied with the Magistry, but their store wouldn't populate. Huh. So was that a item just for you? Or was it a item for everybody? Was it a global issue, or was it just a Skewed One issue, if you know what I mean?
Well, who needed salvage anyway?
Oh, so now you're buying up light AC5s. Light AC5s are actually one of my favorite. Ouch. I'm glad we're not paying for repairs after this
Armor
mission.
breach! Internal damage!
Ouch.
I'm losing weapons, Commander. Receiving you.
Alright, these vehicles need to go. These vehicles need to go. Yeah, light AC5s are actually one of my favorite weapons that you can kind of cheat to get additional firepower into your mech, because they're a lot lighter than the AC5s, but they have like 80% of the range. And for Battletech Advanced, ouch. I'm glad we're not paying to repair our Clint. Glad we're not paying to repair the Clint, and that these injuries are not real.
I get you. On the move.
Okay.
Acknowledge.
So Andre has a Ryzen 5 6-core processor and a GTX 1060 6GB RAM system. Won't last long these days, or it's lasts pretty long still. So you know, Andre, generally speaking,
Pounding, Commander.
Confirm.
you can probably... Oh, thank you for the bits. Really appreciate it. Thank you for the...
I got you.
for the cheer. We really appreciate that. So, Andre, one of the things you could do...
Critical hit.
One of the things that you could do is actually just upgrade your computer as much as you
Grab the
can.
vehicle.
My computer was 3 years old,
I'm on the clock. What do you want?
and it was just time for me to upgrade. So I'm happy that I did it.
Let's make some bad decisions and hide.
It's working well so far. So even though I don't have enough RAM in this computer, I only have 16 RAM right now. But the fact that I have a Ryzen 9 processor and a clean memory system is making up for the fact that I don't have the RAM I would normally like to have right now. But on Tuesday, that RAM will show up, and then that will be a really easy fix for me to...
Back to standing. What's next?
to get that up to speed. All right, let's get our Clint into cover here. Our Clint's been hammered pretty hard. The best 10% chance here. Skewed One says, I just replaced the 20 in my Hunchback for 3 5s. I need 1 more ton of ammo to have 15 rounds of Alpha.
Waiting for orders.
I just don't have that much money. Maybe later it'll be better. Oh, yeah, Andre, I understand. Money is a challenge that we're always dealing with.
Location confirmed.
You know, that's absolutely the truth. All right, let's do some target prediction here to increase our accuracy. Yeah, we're all struggling with money. Money. Yeah, I mean, Andre, you might not necessarily have to make a change now, but what I'm just telling you is, in many cases, you can actually upgrade your computer for very cheap. For example, one of the cheapest and most effective things you can do to increase your computer's processing power, is to add RAM. So RAM is relatively cheap. It's ironic because, you know, 30 years ago RAM was extremely expensive, but now it's actually very cheap. So you can actually double your RAM for, you know, like $150, and that will greatly increase your overall gaming ability, especially when it comes to loading times. The biggest thing RAM helps is when the computer is loading data. That's when RAM really can improve the quality of your computer. Yeah, and I'm nowhere near an expert when it comes to computers, but I've been able to add RAM without too much trouble.
That would be a miss. My heat's getting pretty high.
And Andre, of course, I'm talking US dollars. I don't know what the price for RAM is in Russia. I'm assuming it's going to be more expensive and harder to find there.
Cream of the crop.
You know,
Rise to the top.
some of us are spoiled because we could just go to Amazon and get ourselves RAM whenever
I can
we
see why
want to.
people enjoying this line of work.
Alright, let's get our Locust in here. Let's finish off these last couple enemies. I would like to get to the mech bay, see if anybody wants to
All weapons
name a mech or a pilot. And then we also have to come up with a name for our company, and I'd like to get in one more mission, if we can. We should have enough time to do all those things.
Commander.
You know, whenever I do a fresh start, I really enjoy it because it's so challenging. The first time that you are playing through a mission with not so good pilots, and you have to make some interesting choices. Always makes it a lot more fun.
Inflicted some heavy damage.
And you're
My flamer is empty.
and you have to get more creative with your mechs when you're first starting out. Like, you have to experiment with new weapon systems. You have to try to figure out what works and what doesn't work with the weapons that you have available. So it's a lot of fun. Really glad that our mechs are going to be repaired 100% after this mission.
I'm on the clock. What do you want?
Because we're getting a lot of damage. These Irvies are frustrating.
Cream of the crop. Rise to the top.
And keep in mind, for the most part, they're using training ammo, so this is not really a true representation of
on my way.
what we're up against when we do a real mission. This is a training mission, so
Solid connection on that one.
When you're doing 5 skull missions, yeah, I mean, to be honest with you,
Yes,
I
Commander.
find that the early missions are actually more challenging than when you have 5 skull missions because you have less work to
On my
work
way.
with. You have less stuff to work with. As far as overall difficulty, I would probably say, when you get to the 4 to 5 range is probably the most difficult. Once you get to 5 and you have lots of mechs and lots of resources, it's not nearly as challenging.
Confirmed.
But that's just my experience. What do you think, Askewed One? Would you agree with that assessment? Is that, I would say early on and then maybe level 3 to 4 is where you have the most challenging missions. Whenever you're trying to step up with respect to the enemies that you're facing, that's when you're going to have your biggest challenges. I should take off the leg on this Irby here.
Rise to the top.
Okay.
Well,
Alright, there we go. One more Irby and we're done.
Enjoy this line of work.
Standing by.
Yeah, when you're stepping up, so when you have all mediums and you have to step up to fight heavies and assaults, for example, that's where things get challenging. When you have lights and you're trying to step up to get mediums, that's where things get challenging. It's when you're trying to level up that you have your biggest challenges. All right, there we go. There's our first mission for the new campaign under the belt.
Mission successful.
Fortunately, we don't have real injuries, and our mechs are magically going to be repaired after that mission. Alright, so we did get some money, so that's good. We need money desperately. It's sad if I have to... No, Andre, I don't look at it that way. Askewed One, how do you feel when you have to restart a career mode? I don't really have a problem with it because I find the early missions interesting. Oh, injuries do stick? Okay. Injuries stick. That's okay. I can live with it. I have lots of pilots. Uh-oh. Alright. Alright. Is this the issue you were dealing with, Goggles? I think this is the same issue that you told me about, Goggles. I'm having the same problem where we get back to the Argo and there's no... There's a file you need to overwrite. Oh boy. Alright. It's an easy fix. Okay. So, hold on everybody. Let me, I think you put it in our Discord. So let me go to our Discord and see if I can find those instructions on how to fix this issue. So hang on everybody. Talk amongst yourself. Okay, Discord channels. Okay. All right, gather the logs. It's a known issue. Check the link. You need to apply the DLL shown here. I had the same problem, not realizing it has not been added to the installer yet. If you have any problems, file a ticket. All right. Huh. It just keeps taking me back to... Oh, replace that "'tis but a scratch" file with the one in known issues. Okay. Place this in your DLC Flashpoint events and overwrite the one present. Okay. All right. Let's see if we can fix this without too much trouble. Okay. All right, stand by, everybody. Talk amongst yourself. I'm going to work on getting this fixed. All right, so we have the every event story time JSON. So fortunately, okay. So fortunately, I don't have a lot on this computer because it's brand new. So we should be able to fix this pretty easily. So let's go to Steam. We go to Steam Apps. We go to Common. Battletech 3. Oops. Wrong folder. Battletech. And then what is the path? I need the path again. DLC Flashpoint events. Okay. Do you remember what folder the DLC Flashpoint events was in? Because this isn't giving us a full path. Should be in the Battletech data. I don't see a folder called... maybe it's in the resources? No, it's not in the resources. Managed? No, it's not in the resources. Goggles, where did you find that folder that we need to replace this file in? Because I'm in Battletech, but I'm not finding the DLC... Pre-order wallpaper, crash reporter, BTA saves, local. No, it wouldn't be in saves. Battletech. Oh, it might be in the mods. Maybe it's in the mods folder. Let's see. Let's see, mod tech, bigger drops. Oh, it's in the mods. Okay, so it's in the mods. Hold on, everybody. We're close to fixing this problem. Event DLC Flashpoints events. Okay. DLC Flashpoints. Events, and then we're going to paste that file in, replace file in destination. Okay. So then the question is, will it fix itself, or do I have to do a restart? Goggle, since you had to deal with this issue, so did you have to do a reload? Oh, 'tis but a scratch folder? Oh, okay. Alright. So I didn't realize there was a folder for that event. I think we addressed it though, because I just threw it in the folder and I think it addressed the issue. But let's try again. Steam apps. Oh, okay. Don't follow that example. Common, BattleTech, mods, flashpoints. Where's the flashpoints? Flashpoints, events. No, it's in here, so we should be fine now. Flashpoints. I think we're okay now. I think we should be okay. So, Goggles, did you have to do a restart for that to fix? Looks like we do. So we have to load a game. Let's see if we could do event resolved. I really don't want to play that mission again. Let's see. Let's see if that worked. This is a great example of how the Discord is a lifesaver. And how the chat is a lifesaver too. Alright, so hopefully this will get us onto the other side of this issue and we don't have to completely redo that mission again. Although we got some injuries, so maybe it'd be better. But no, we're not going to do that unless we have to. So we're loading a save file. It might take us a minute here. In the meantime, I would love to hear some ideas on what we should call our mech company, because we haven't named our mech company yet. And also, if anybody wants to name a pilot or mech, now is the time to use those channel points. I think it got hung up. We're gonna have to do a quick restart here. Mason's Marauders? I don't know. That's pretty vanilla. I'm not a fan of that name. Oh, you had to restart the game, Google. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. Yes, that is the default. It's kind of an homage to MechWarrior 5. Because that's the name of your company at the beginning of MechWarrior 5. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that's what that's a reference to. So, if anybody has some suggestions other than the default skewed one for what we should call our company, let me know. I was actually thinking it would be kind of funny to call ourselves the Nerd Herd. I think that would be kind of you know, kind of embracing the fact that we're gamers, right? I don't take the nerd terminology as a negative thing. So, Goggles, did you have to replay that mission, or did you just... Nerd's Warm Shelter? Alright, so, Goggles, can we load this event resolved file, or is it going to hang up? Let's give it a try. We could call ourselves the Nerf Herders. That would be funny. Or the Scruffy Brigade. Something along those lines. So hopefully this will load correctly. So this glitch develops if you say no to the BattleTech Livefire invite, but then you play it anyways. And the only reason I said no to the invite is it wouldn't let me collect. All right, there we go. So we actually... Yeah, we didn't... It's going to make us play that mission again. I don't feel like doing it on this stream, so let's pick another mission. But before we do, does anybody want to name our pilots or a mech? So because we need to do that right now. Let's actually go into the captain's quarters. And, you know, let's put in Nerd Herd. Why not? Oh, it would help if I could spell. The Nerd Herd. Let's see if we can find something that looks kind of nerdy. What would be a nerdy looking icon? Nerd Hard 2. Nerd Harder. I love it. That's funny. I was wondering if there was something like a computer or something like that. Something that looks calculating. There's some weird new icons in here. Maybe like this pyramid ski icon. It looks kind of science related. Ooh, I like this storm actually, but it doesn't tie into our theme. You know what? We'll play around with our icon later. Yeah, you know what? We'll take this pyramid for now, maybe. It looks kind of math related. Yeah, let's take the we'll take the pyramid for now. How about our color scheme? Anybody have a preference on color scheme? Maybe kind of orangish to go along with our theme. Maybe something like that for now. We can play around with that later. Yeah, a skewed one. I did see WandaVision. I did see WandaVision, so I thought that was a pretty cool pretty cool play on not only, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but it was a very interesting story. I think a skewed one, it's going to be a situation where it will grow on you because there's lots of hidden things in WandaVision. All right, let's go to our barracks. So before we take another mission, I want to give everyone a chance. If anybody wants to name a pilot for them, let me know. We have Jelly here,
Waiting on you, Commander.
which could be renamed. We have Dough Ball that can be named.
Orders.
Anybody that's not considered a VIP, Taboo can be renamed. So anybody that's not a VIP. Sure, we'll give you some topics, Andre. I would even throw that out on our Discord and ask people to give you topics for drawing. So, does anybody want to name a pilot? You can give me at any point later on, if you want to use your channel points, you can name a pilot. We can also name our mechs. So does anybody want to name a mech right now, which you can do with your channel points? So if anybody doesn't have any suggestions, then I'm going to actually rename them off camera, but we can always change it later on. All right, so I don't want to waste our time. Not pale enough.
I wrapped up that job you asked for, Commander.
All right. Well, how about a skewed one? How about we rename? Would you like to use your channel points to rename? How about Taboo here?
Awaiting orders.
He's kind of pale. We can rename Taboo, or we can rename Doughboy. I can customize him. So what we can actually do is I can actually change his complexion. That's easy to do. So we can go with a change the complexion here. There we go. There's a paler complexion. All right. Okay, skewed one has redeemed mech pilot in BTA for 7,500. All right. A skewed one, what will your call sign be? Tell me your call sign. Or do you want to just use your name? If you want to use your name, I can use your name. I'm not going to use your real personal name, obviously. As far as naming your call sign, we can name it whatever you want. So I can call you a skewed one. I can name it anything that you want to because you've used your channel points for it. As long as it's not inappropriate, I will name it whatever you want. So, a skewed one, what would you like to name your pilot? I could just call it you. I could just call this pilot you if you'd like. That's what a lot of people do. So, I could just make it ASKEWED 1. So we could just call you skewed 1 if you want. All right. Do you want to change the first name or the last name? Let me know what you want to do. Or we could just keep it with this generic name. You're fine with those. Okay. All right. So there we go. Are you okay with this voice, or do you want to do a different voice? Because I can change your voice as well. I can change your voice. If you're okay with that voice, then we'll just move on. Let me know in the next 10 seconds. Okay, you like the M-Bear. Okay, there you go. The Skewed 1 is now in as one of our pilots. So let's actually pick a mission now. We're not going to do the BTA mission, live fire exercise again. Let's do this aggressive intrusion because we can try to get some salvage out of it. All right. So we're going to take our dervish with our commander. We're going to take the Clint. And we need to put our best gunner in the Clint. So we'll put Jelly in the Clint. We'll take 2 Jenners. Because yeah, we'll take 2 Jenners. And we'll put Pacifist in one. And we'll put T-Bone in the other. And then we'll put LeFay in the Locust. Thank you for the follow. Really appreciate that. Alright, so let's try to get in one more mission before we switch over to Baldur's Gate 3, which we're going to do at 45 minutes after the hour. Assuming IMG is out there somewhere, because he is going to be my partner for Baldur's Gate 3, as always. So, Skewed 1, you were the first person to name a pilot in this career. And you know what? In retrospect, I didn't even use your pilot, did I? Ay. Or did I? I'm not sure if I grabbed you or not, Skewed 1. Shame on me. No, I don't think I did. Alright, my goal was to level you up. Alright, so this is one of my favorite maps, actually, for a battle.
Mush.
Oh, you're fine with that, Skewed 1? Would you like your pilot to level up through some training before we take him out for a fight? All right. So let's let's sprint up with our Locusts.
Understood. Moving fast.
And incidentally, Goggles, thank you for talking us through that issue. Okay, so Stinger Lamb. Now, one of the interesting things that's going to come up with the next update is we're going to get lambs that actually fly and transform. So that's coming up soon. So let's pick up target prediction here. It's not going to help our pilot, but it's going to help the other pilots. Hopefully we can get rid of this Stinger Lamb quickly. So I think the addition of lambs that can actually fly around and transform instead of just jump is going to be really cool.
Damage minimal.
It's going to make lambs actually a pretty useful resource, in my opinion. We'll see how it plays out. So we're going to keep our mech as fast and evasive as it can. Stinger Lamb. Alright. We got this. We have a good chance to hit this wheeled APC, so let's do that. This is not exactly the most, not the best salvage so far. Well, hopefully we're going to get some better mechs here.
I hear ya.
Here in the Nerd Herd. I gotta say, that name is growing on me.
Turbo.
Oh, there goes that APC.
You like that?
So, Askewed One, have you seen any of the gameplay from Bloody Doves that has the lambs that actually transform and fly around? It's pretty cool.
Good to go.
I'm more excited about that than I am about the battle armor, which was kind of a disappointment for me.
Going turbo.
Not saying that negatively, like they did a bad job with it. It just wasn't as impactful as I thought it would be. So we got a Hunter Light Tank. We've got a Pegasus. Alright, let's do Battlelord here. Increase our chances of a hit on this lamb. Yeah, I think the lambs are going to be very interesting. Now, you have to remember with lambs, the heaviest lamb that ever got produced in large numbers was a Shadowhawk lamb. So you're not going to have an assault that turns into a lamb. But we are going to have a situation where we can probably have Shadowhawks that are lambs. Ooh, Askewed One, don't use that name. Don't use that name, because that's one of the big disputes that came up. Anybody that knows BattleTech history knows that there was a big fight between Harmony Gold, or I should say the producers of Robotech and BattleTech, because the models were actually sold to both companies by the same designer and used by both. So one of the big legal issues for decades that caused a delay in BattleTech really getting to where it could be right now was because companies were fighting about who had the rights to use those models, especially the Phoenix Hawk model, which is used extensively in Robotech. So, kind of just an interesting piece of history when it comes to BattleTech is that they had that legal dispute about who had the right to use these models. Personally, I would have just hired somebody else and came up with new models, but that's just me. And that's why some of the mechs... Let's go for a kick here on this lamb to take away its evasion.
Got it.
One of the mechs for decades, several of the mechs for decades were called the Unseen because they weren't allowed to be used in BattleTech for quite some time because they were there was a legal dispute. Alright, so the lamb jumped to reestablish evasion. That was actually pretty smart on its part. You came across... Yes, same with me. I was a Robotech person before I was a BattleTech person.
Got it. Max speed.
I would love for someone to come out with a Robotech game. That would be a lot of fun.
This would be good.
If they came up with a Robotech game, a good Robotech game, I would be hooked. Right, we got 3 parts of that stinger for what it's worth.
What do you want?
I mean, the funny thing is, is it might be good for me to get some stingers or some lambs before they update the mod to include the lamb mod or the lamb update, which will make the lambs much more playable. But I would love if there was a Robotech game.
Standing by.
I mean, there are some out there, but they're not very good, to be honest with you. But if there was a really good modern Robotech game, I think it would do very well. But I have no idea who owns the rights to Robotech right now. I don't know. It's probably still Harmony Gold, unless they sold it to somebody else.
Standing by.
Yeah, I think a Robotech game would be a lot of fun.
Taking the shot.
I'm gonna overheat here. I didn't mean to do that.
Reporting. Minimal damage.
This heat is frying my internals.
I remember when I went back, when Heavy Metal came out, I went back to playing Heavy Metal without mods.
What can I do for you?
And for the longest time, I kept overheating and causing damage to myself because in modded BattleTech, you don't cause damage to yourself for overheating. But in regular BattleTech, you do. So I would overheat and say, oh, it's not a big deal. And then I would end up with a whole bunch of damage.
I hear ya. You betcha.
Yeah, I would like to drive a Cyclone too.
Commencing Alpha Strike.
A preliminary Google search says Harmony Gold owns the rights to BattleTech, or to Robotech. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's true.
Let's make some bad decisions.
I think a Robotech game would be very popular if they did it right. That's kind of the question. Can they do it right? If they make it cheesy, I don't think fans are going to like it. But if they made it a high quality game, I'm trying to think of a good comparison. If they made a MechWarrior 5 style game based on BattleTech so you could fly around and transform, you know, I think that would be a winner. Now, that's kind of throwing out the fact that MechWarrior 5 has some issues. I know it has some issues, but I'm just saying that type of a game with BattleTech would probably be successful.
Locking in
See if we finish off this enemy here with a stomp.
Over the red line. Heat damage.
Alright, come on. Come on, it's just a... It's just a light support tank. We should be able to squish this thing pretty easily.
I feel bad about shooting the little guy.
I don't feel bad about shooting the little guy. We need some easy wins.
Smoked him.
Alright, milk run, just as expected. Okay. We should be able to do another mission here. Alright, we got a little bit of money. Not as much as I would like, that's for sure. Alright. So I guess we have to take the Stinger Lamb parts. I'm not excited about a Stinger Lamb, but, you know, it's something. LRM 20, we've got a couple of cores. Not too bad. All right. All right, so good news is we didn't suffer any injuries. It's cold in your room. Yeah, it's nice and warm here in California. All right, so let's do another quick mission. Nosy Neighbors. Minus 20 outside. Wow, that is cold. All right, Eschewed 1, we are going to take you out on this next mission. I want to level you up. Let's put you in a Jenner. And we'll keep everything else the same. I will say, rolling 2 Jenners to start out with is pretty nice because for as far as light mechs go, Jenner Ds are pretty solid, especially if you take out the jump jets and armor them up. They're actually pretty viable mechs for 35 tons. You know, would I trade one for a fire starter? Absolutely, but you know, starting out with 2 Jenners is not bad. Alright, so we're loading pretty quickly with the new computer. It should load even faster once I add the 32 bits of RAM, megabytes of RAM that are coming in on Tuesday. But I'm not having any problems with loading time.
What can I do for you?
Which is nice. Alright, this is a straight up battle, so let's
I
just
read you, Commander. Moving out.
push up and get to the enemy.
Alright, let's get down to it.
It's not rocket science.
Position confirmed. Move into position.
Affirmative. Orders.
Alright. Okay, let's see what we're up against
Understood.
here.
Moving fast.
Alright, we have a Locust, a Hornet, and a Locust. Oh, do you think we could put a Locust together? Actually, I don't mind the, yeah, I don't know. Do we want a Locust? Not really, but, you know.
Engaging.
That is the hand we are dealt here. I mean, if I put a Locust together, I'd probably just sell
To
it.
go.
But the good news is we should have an advantage in firepower on this mission.
Standing by.
Good to go.
Man, I meant to take the jump jets off this Clint.
I'm on the clock. What do you want?
Alright, so our Dervish finally can use its indirect fire. The last 2 missions we had were all pretty flat, so we didn't have a direct fire capability, or indirect fire capability. So yeah, let's go for the Locust here. We're probably going to run out of ammo on these LRM launchers pretty quickly. But I'm going to rework this Dervish to be more of an MRM build as soon as I can get some MRMs. You just get so much more firepower that way. Goggles, are you still on the stream? Alright, Le Fay. We have to get someone up to step up and rename LeFay because I don't like that name. So we need someone. We need some other pilots from the Nerd Herd in our mech bay. So I'm calling you guys out. Use your channel points wisely, of course, but we'd like to name our pilots with viewers as much as we can.
I'm in a somatic.
Ouch! Alright, we got an
Minimal
injury.
damage on that hit.
Not good, we got an injury. Leafy? Oh, it's Leafy. Oh, alright. Leafy. Alright, either way. Let's see. I need to move her or him out of the line of fire because there's already one injury here. So let's do a let's use our target prediction, and then we're going to go ahead and hit this guy in the rear.
I think I hit something good.
No, I think you're probably right, Skewed One. The question is it named after the YouTuber? Maybe. There is a pretty popular YouTuber named Leafy. So that could be what it refers to. Although it's not a VIP, so if it's modifiable, it can't be anybody that's famous because it's not a VIP person.
I can't take much more.
I know that both IMG and I missed getting a VIP status because we just, ouch. There goes that locust. I'm glad we're putting another locust together. Probably after this mission. Oh, okay. Okay. You read it. I read it correctly. You read it wrong. Alright. This guy's got to go because he's
Targeting for an alpha strike.
he's been hammering us pretty hard.
Commander. Roger.
We're getting outmaneuvered here by the AI. Come on. Come on, Jeff. Get your mind in the game. Get your mind in the game.
Uh-huh.
Haven't seen a Skewed One yet. Let me send him a quick text. Because I have not seen him. Usually he pops into the stream.
Take this!
And we are doing Boulder's Gate pretty shortly here. So,
Should have run when you
alright,
had the
there's a
chance.
quick kill. We got 3 salvageable parts of a locust. Yay! So excited about getting all these locust parts. Actually, we do need the locust parts though because, well, our locust just got wrecked. And I don't see myself rebuilding a locust. Alright, this locust is highly evasive. Yeah, why repair when you can replace it?
System
Yeah.
building.
I mean,
Standing by.
the sad thing is that is actually one of the better locusts, but it's still a locust, so I'm more worried about losing our pilot
Roger
here.
that. Full speed.
Hey, Raider Razor, thank you for hosting us and rating us as well. Really appreciate that. We're playing some BTA here. We just started a fresh new playthrough of BattleTech Advanced. Raider Razor,
Okay.
thank you for the follow as well. Very kind for you to bring your crew over here. We've got probably about 20 more minutes of Battletech Advanced, and then we're going to switch over to playing Baldur's Gate 3.
Standing by.
So if you're here for Battletech, please stay around because we are going to be playing some Baldur's Gate 3, if that interests you guys. Alright, we can't... Well, we always like to
Aye, aye.
support a fellow Battletech streamer. So, Raider Razor, why don't you give everybody a quick summary of the games that you stream and when you stream Rogue Tech for those people that want to see some Rogue Tech gameplay instead of Battletech advanced gameplay, they can check out your streams. So please feel free to give yourself some self-promotion. So if you want to put out your Discord, if you want to tell us your schedule, please let us know. Once I'm done with my stream, I'll absolutely give you a follow as well. Because us streamers have to stay together. Alright, let's kick this Locust in the you-know-what.
Targeting for a physical attack.
You stream MechWarrior Online and Rogue Tech pretty much every night. Well,
I hear
I'm
ya.
definitely going to have to tune in. Raider, do you have any thoughts on the current controversy
Got it.
in MechWarrior Online with people having funds?
Another hit like that.
People that are having fun with teaming up and wrecking the other team with some interesting strategies
And there's more.
as a way to call out the fact that MechWarrior Online is not really that well balanced right now. I always like to hear the opinion of other people because it's a pretty significant controversy in MechWarrior Online right now.
Let's make some bad decisions at high speed.
Where some people are specifically trying to make it unfun to show the fact that things are not very balanced in MechWarrior Online right now. I'm not going to mention any names, but there's two streamers that are kind of going head-to-head over the issue because I don't want to publicize the issue, but
Ready for orders.
so NASCAR, as I understand it, Raider, is where people are just using their engines to run around at high
No
speed
shooting, just running.
and taking the strategy out of the game. It's pretty much just running around, shooting at each
Locking
other,
on target.
and being evasive. Is that the gist of it?
Negative,
To be
yeah.
honest, I
Negative,
watch
yeah.
MechWarrior Online streams,
Ready for order.
but I haven't played MechWarrior Online consistently for at least a couple of years because of all the balance issues.
You want to go? Let's go.
You want to go, Hornet? You want to go in this? You want to go, Hornet? Let's go. So NASCAR is really more for you. The concern about NASCAR is more about the lack of teamwork. Yeah, I would have to agree that that would be problematic in MechWarrior Online. If you're not playing as a team, you are going to lose. That's for sure.
Critical hit.
Because if you're playing
Waiting on you,
MechWarrior
Commander.
Online and you're not playing as a team and you play against somebody who is playing as a team it's not going to end well for you.
Commencing Alpha Strike.
I do remember that.
Armor breach. Internal damage.
I'm on the clock. What do you want?
So while everybody is joining us from the raid, I will let everybody know that we do have a giveaway. Oops. I can't type. There we go. So if you give us a follow, which costs you nothing, you are automatically entered into our monthly Funko Pop giveaway. The more that you're involved with our channel, the more chances you have to win, but theoretically you can win with just one follow.
Well, who needed...
Alright, there we go.
I'm legally obligated to inform you I'm paid per kill.
Alright. Mission complete.
Mission successful.
Alright, thank you Raider Razor for joining us. Hopefully we'll see you again. And thank you everybody else who joined us from that stream. Really appreciate that. So another thing we do on our channel is you can name our pilots or our mechs with your channel points. And we try to do that in between missions. So does anybody want to cash in their channel points to name a pilot or a mech? If you click on the bubble below the send a message in the chat, it will tell you the values of requesting those items. Alright, so we've got some damage to our Jenner. A lot of damage to our Locust. Alright, alright, so we get 2 parts of a Locust. Remount the respectable SRM salvage. I'll take the 1S parts, I think. No, I'm going to take the 1 PA parts. Hopefully we could put together a Locust here. Alright, I'm gonna die. We are gonna rename the Dervish Pokey. Alright, so we got a Hornet part, 1, 2, 3, 4 Locust parts. So we can build the Locusts, which is good because one of our Locusts just got trashed. So let's step into the mech bay. Now that IMG has decided to get out of bed, we're going to switch to Baldur's Gate 3 in just a few minutes. So what we're going to do is we're going to finish up a little bit in the mech bay here, including renaming our Dervish Pokey. Alright, so let's do that. So let's deal with the mech bay here. So first of all, we're going to sell this, we're going to scrap this Locust, which will keep Darius from nagging us. We're going to repair this Jenner. Okay. And we're going to build the Locust 1 PA.
That mech is ready to fight, Commander.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to rename our Dervish Pokey. Alright, Pokey the Dervish. Done. Alright, so now we have Pokey the Dervish. And I have a Locust to replace the Locust that we destroyed. But this Locust is much better. So this Locust has reloading rocket launcher 15s to actually give it a little bit of firepower. And it's got an XL engine. So we're going to have to be careful with it, but that's not that bad because once we replace this Locust with something better, then we'll have an XL engine out of it. That's why I selected that build. All right, let's upgrade our pilots here before we forget.
Good to go.
So a skewed one, we can't upgrade yet.
Confirm.
Ready for orders. Waiting for orders.
Our jelly, we can upgrade some piloting.
Complete.
Commander.
Leafy, who got damaged. Ooh, she's gonna be out for 53 days. We might have to replace that pilot. I'm gonna have to think about that for a minute. I don't know if at this level of the game. Yeah, that was one cheap way to get an XL engine, huh?
Ready for orders.
Because it's a jury-rigged XL engine. That's the jury-rigged XL engine takes up more space.
I hear ya.
It's still an XL engine.
Mech warrior training complete.
Okay, that's a good point. So what I can do is I can increase the guts and see if that changes the recovery time. No, still going to be 53 days. I think the guts would have to be increased before the
What do
injury.
you want?
So
Training confirmed.
now we're going to look at the hiring hall. All right, so I've got a Junker available. I've got Doyle. So theoretically, I would like to take Doyle because Doyle is actually a streamer that streams Expanded 3025, and I think he's a really nice guy. But
Awaiting orders.
I do want to have more pilots that we can actually name after our crew, which IMG, I don't know if you noticed it, but we changed our company to the Nerd Herd. So I want to have as many nerds in the herd as we can. So if I get Doyle, then I can't rename Doyle anything else. So LeFay, was nice seeing you, but we're going to kick you to the curb because you're injured. And we're a cutthroat mercenary company. And we need our mechs racks filled with people that can help
New
us.
mech warriors available.
Alright, so now we have a new mech warrior available, which is Junker.
Aye, aye.
So Junker is available for naming if anybody wants to name Junker. Leave our men behind. That's not the army way. Yeah, and I would never do that as when I was in the National Guard, but you know what? We're mercenaries. We're cutthroat. So if you get hurt for 53 days and you're not going to help our company, we're going to let you go. That's just all there is to it. IMG, are we going to play some Baldur's Gate 3? Let me know, because then I can end this stream, and then I'm going to actually ask everybody to maybe talk amongst yourself for 5 or 10 minutes, or just check out another stream, and if you've followed us, you'll get the notification when we start Baldur's Gate 3. So IMG, let me know if you think we're ready to switch over, or if you want me to keep playing BTA. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to end this stream. So since we had a raid, I want to remind everybody we do play BattleTech Advanced at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, 7 days a week. So please join us for another BattleTech Advanced stream, and we'll see you next time. Again, we're going to be back in about 10 minutes with Baldur's Gate 3. So you can either hang out in the chat room for 5 to 10 minutes, or you can just wait for the notification that we're playing and then come